Hello and welcome again to Infinite Transcendence. Today I want to talk about one of the most important concepts of becoming successful, specifically building wealth, absent productivity. What does absent productivity mean? It means you're productive without having to actually be there. You get to be productive without actually having to be in your job or in your career, in your business, whatever you're doing. You want to be out of it so that you can still build wealth and make money. This liberates you from having to make the money by actually being there, and it allows you to pursue other things while still getting paid. And who doesn't want to be paid to do nothing or to work or to travel, enjoy themselves? Who doesn't want to make money around the clock? We all do. So that's why we want to do that. Now, how do you do this? Why is it important? And why don't people do it? Well, there's a lot of reasons. People love to have that lifestyle, but they don't know how to do it. They don't want to let go. They don't know how to delegate. They don't want to take the risk to start a business or have control over their own productivity. First of all, that's the first step. And also, even people who have businesses often just have jobs. They have worse than a job because they own their own job, which means they have all the risk, all the liability, get no benefits other than what they pay for themselves. And if something goes wrong, they're done. I know people who are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s who are still working in their business, and it's just them. Or maybe they have a few workers, but they have to be there every day of the week, five to 7 days, depending on what they do, and they're there from morning to night. Now, at first you may think that doesn't sound too bad. At least you have your own business, but eventually you realize you're trapped. You can't go anywhere. You can't just leave. And these with a job, you get vacations and guaranteed pay and benefits, but as a business owner, you don't get that. And if you lose money, you lose money. Even if your workers are making money, you still lose money. So you end up working harder in a way than almost anybody. You may not work as hard mentally. You may not do as much of the mental work as if you have a large organization, but you do a lot of you're there. You're the accountant. You're the person who does the physical work. You're there doing the actual job. You do the admin. You do the advertising and the marketing. It all falls on you. Yeah, and that's not a fate you want to be in for the long run. I remember when I was starting out, I was, like most people. Yeah, I like doing a thing myself. I want to be a perfectionist. I mean, I figured some day down the road I'd get around to hiring others or something like that. But I was content doing it myself. I was efficient and productive to where I could be only out 1 day a week or 2 days a week. But even then, I had to be local. I had to be in that immediate area to keep an eye on things in case things came up. Customers could always call. Something could always go wrong. And even if I hired a contractor or hired somebody, I didn't have that complete freedom that I would have had if I would have had a system running itself. You want to build a business system. And the way you build a business system is to substitute your time for other people's time, especially when their time can be bought for less pay than your own time. What does that mean? Well, for instance, like say my site, I could do everything myself. Even if somebody's even if somebody's not let's say somebody's 90% as good as I am at designing things. If I hire them and I pay them, a certain flat rate, let's say I pay them $10 to design me a banner. Sure, I could do it myself and keep the $10, but you gotta look at the time it frees me up to focus on other important activities. Maybe I need to focus on my marketing. Maybe I need to focus on other forms of acting. I need to focus on making content and post. Maybe I need to focus on something else. It frees me up to do other high value activities that bring me better return, because you want to look at the 80-20 rule or the 90-10 rule. You want to put the majority of your time into aspects that give you the greatest return. And doing a lot of the grunt labor and the easy to substitute labor is going to take away from your ability to duplicate yourself. You want to be absent from your job. So the first thing is to get over the perfection. As I talked about before, cut out the perfectionism. You don't want to try to do everything yourself. Get out of the attitude that it all has to be done by you and that you're the best. Give people a chance. A lot of times people can be better than you are or close to it. If a person's almost as good but they can do it for much cheaper than you, you need to utilize their labor and stop utilizing your own labor, because it's not a smart use of your time. That's a way to trap yourself into working for cheap. So that's one habit you'll have to get out of. And you also look at the time cost of a lot of things. Like for instance, my other business, I used to collect payments in person by check, and what happened was I had to go meet customers, go run into them, meet them at their place to get paid for work, and a lot of times they would forget to leave it out or something like that, so I'd eat up a lot of my time chasing people. But eventually I made my payments online. This was back when online payments started becoming popular, like the late 2000s, and I did that. Once I started utilizing that, it freed up a lot of my time. I could just, even though they charged me a fee, it was worth it because it freed up my time. I didn't have to keep chasing customers, keep calling them, other than entering the new information, their new billing information. I had to come constantly, I left it, come meet me, I forgot to leave the money out. These things made me more productive and freed up my time, so it was well worth the expense. So you definitely look at your time cost, and that's the major point of freeing yourself. If something you're doing is taking up so much time that you're not really that you're losing productivity, you want to substitute that out either by automating or by delegating. So automation, in my opinion, is the best. If you can get a robot to do it and it is cheap and affordable, like the internet or a system, that's the best way to do it because it takes the least management and the least hassle. You have to deal with all the hassles of an employee or a worker, and you can still enjoy that freedom. But the next thing, you have to start hiring people, outsource, contract others from different countries, whatever you need to do, depending on what job you need. And you want to scale with your growth. So what you end up doing is, what you want to do here is scale little by little. Don't try to scale too much. Start out small. Start out hiring people for small tasks around your house, or hiring people for small tasks here and there. Hire an accountant, hire people for things like that, and eventually scale up to where you're at. But don't make the mistake of trying to do too much and try to pass your service and control over to another business. Because what some people try to do is they'll go with an agency or go with a group or try network marketing or something like that, where they give up the freedom of their business to another entity who can change the rules at any time and take away their huge part of their earning power. There's nothing wrong with using other businesses and making money with them, but just don't make them the main way you get paid. Don't make them your only source of income, because it's almost like having a job, but not quite. And also, finally, don't think about saving money. Think about buying time. Think about time is limited. You want to buy time so that you can focus on freedom and focus on high productivity activities. You don't want to spend your time focusing on activities that aren't that productive and eat up a lot of time. So think of buying time. Now, how do you guys feel about this? Do you want to master absent productivity? Do you do it now? Are you a business owner who does this, or do you do it in other aspects of your life? Definitely let me know. Comment on the article, comment in the video, like and subscribe to the newsletter, get new and interesting content, and transcend infinitely.